Hi, everybody. Susan Odell here, CEO of 80/20 CS, and I specialize in helping companies operationalize transformation and change. This is episode 2 in my series on strength training as a metaphor for change management. And what I wanted to talk about today is buy-in and the importance of buy-in and alignment at every level of the organization when you are trying to succeed at transformation and change. So in front of me, I have 4 kettlebells. And I'm going to use them as an analogy for the different levels of any company that is a scale up or an enterprise organization. So you've got a board that has voting members. You have a C-level, or they may be monikered as a VP. It doesn't really matter. But you've got an executive management team. You have a middle management team, and then you have the front lines. And so let's look at the big guy here, the 48-pound kettlebell, as the board with voting authority to make changes and decisions for the business. We have the 35-pound kettlebell here as the leadership team, the C-suite or VP suite of an organization. And then we've got the 12-kilogram kettlebell, which is middle management, and our baby 8-kilogram kettlebell as representing the frontline team. And let's just get on the same page. There is no member of this organization that is any more valuable than the other. The board is not more important than leadership. Leadership is not more important than middle management, and the front lines are not less important than anybody else. Everybody has equal value. Everyone has a different function in the business, but without each one of these, a business cannot thrive, it cannot survive, it cannot grow. And so if you have a transformation or change initiative, and my first video, I talked about this little guy representing change within a department, where it's insular to a department and the team can handle that change. This is not where I specialize. I specialize at the top end here, where we're talking about change that goes across an entire organization where you need really significant buy-in, or change that even goes external to external markets and partners, shareholders, public companies, those types of things. So more complex change is really where 80/20 CS is focused. But if we think about the kettlebells in terms of the board, senior leadership, middle management, and the front lines, if you are taking on transformative change, you have to have buy-in at all levels, because without that, it will fail. So if you've got the board that hasn't communicated or consulted with the rest of the organization, and they just dictate a particular thing, well, maybe leadership isn't going to support that, and it might only be one person on the leadership team that says, I'm not doing that. Now you've got a branch of the organization that's not going to fall in line with that plan. Conversely, if the C-level dictates down and says, look, I'm an executive and I'm telling you, you need to do this, but they're dependent on these two members of the organization, middle management and the frontline workers, to execute on that mandate from the C-suite, and you've got dissent. You know, I talked on another video about quiet quitting, and quiet quitting can have a massively negative impact on your success of change management. You cannot dictate down without risking success. And so my point is, that as you're thinking about transformative change, or even just strategic change management, doesn't have to be, cultural or organizational transformation, you really need to make sure there's alignment at each level of the organization. And if you don't have alignment between the board and the executive, don't start pushing things down to middle management and the front lines, because you haven't had buy-in here yet, right? And the same thing conversely. Senior leadership, you agree with the board about transformation or a change event? Great. Now you need to collaborate with middle management to understand the implications of that change in day-to-day operations. They're going to have some good reasons why maybe that plan needs to be tweaked about 10%. Maybe it needs to be tweaked 50%. Maybe it needs to be abandoned, but you have to have that conversation. And at the end of the day, your front line is everything. They're the ones who are going to be building the code, who are going to be hitting the market, who are going to be updating the processes and procedures if you're in a regulatory space. That heavy lifting of the tactics is your front line. And if they don't buy into it, or if they don't understand why it's going to be painful but still needs to be done, you're putting the whole transformation effort at risk. So what do I do? So I have two modes of engagement to help companies operationalize transformation and change. Successful change workshops, which is around me coming in and working with leadership to buy leadership and middle management. So let's take these two. And it can even be at the board level, but typically it's happening at senior leadership and middle management level to come in and help them align around the transformation or change issues so that, do they fully understand the impact? How are they going to manage that over time? What should the timeline scenario be? If they've got 4 or 5 initiatives, which one should happen in 2024 versus ones that are dependent and should be pushed out to 2025? Like what's realistic? Second mode of engagement is trusted advisor, which can be applied to an individual leader. It could also be applied to a leadership team that might want to pull me in as a virtual COO to help with a particular change initiative. So 2 modes, very simple. I'd encourage you to go to 8020cs.com, 8020cs.com, and you can learn more about me, what I do, the service offerings that I just introduced you to. And, 2024 budget planning is happening right now. I'd love to lean in with you and just, share my experience and maybe help you have a different perspective on what is feasible versus what is not. Again, stuff that's been rolling over since like 2021 and you wanted to get it done, it didn't happen. 2022, it didn't happen. 2023, it didn't happen. And it's rolling over again. Like, why is that? Maybe some a different perspective, external perspective can help you kind of work through that. And then as you go into 2024, certainly my model is to help you succeed at those change and transformation initiatives that you have put as priorities in the strategic plan. That's what I'm here to do. So have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one. Episode 3 is on the way.